Welcome into all of our podcasters and all the folks listening to us on the Edge Radio US. We were fortunate enough once again to have an in-studio guest that we kept around for a little bonus content. So when you hear the end of the show right after This Week in Geek History, don't stop because we got about 20 more minutes of content just for you. So stick around and enjoy. Thanks.
Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared, along with
Brian Held.
Brian Held. How are you, buckaroo?
Man, I'm great. I'm in such a good mood because I got to officiate a wedding on Friday.
Really? Yeah, that's like a death sentence, right? I mean, was it a somber mood?
No, it was very happy and uplifting.
My favorite shirt is like the bride and the groom, and underneath it says "Game Over."
No.
Okay.
These are two wonderful kids, and I was happy to be there. And of course, they had plenty of free liquor at the bar, so that was cool too.
That's
yes,
always a plus. To be young again and feel love's keen sting once more.
Right.
All right, let's lay out the show real quick, Brian. We're going to open up, obviously, with top nerd news, but we have two interviews tonight, Brian.
Yeah, Skungy doesn't have anything new right now, so instead we're bringing in New York Times bestselling author Katherine Arden. Her new book, The Winter of the Witch, just came out on January 8th, and we got some good insight into that. And then in studio, our guest is Miss Rachel Pizzolato. She is one of the young people who are involved with
Mythbusters
Jr. with
yeah.
Adam Savage. Yeah, so I got to meet her recently at an industry party, and I was like, you got to come into the studio. So
an industry party?
Yes.
Are you hobnobbing and with the big wigs or whatever the words they are?
As much as possible. And, of course, we'll close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History.
But first... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, Brian, what's topping us off tonight?
Well, sometimes I feel like a broken record. You know, you wanted to come out of the gate with another reboot. Final Destination is getting rebooted, and I'm not really a fan of this. Right.
Reboots?
So
Don't talk to me about reboots.
Tell me about Final Destination, Dave.
Final Destination. Look, it was a fun movie. Like, I think the second movie was probably the better one. It opened up with this gigantic slaughter scene. Like, the first one was all those kids on a plane, and it blows up, and the kid, he saw a glimpse in the future, convinces people to not get on the plane, and then Death has to get everything back in order, so Death goes around and kills them all. And the second one, it was fun. It was stupid movies, but they were fun. So if they want to reboot this, I'm totally fine with it because there's no endearment to some of the characters. It's not like, oh, you can't replace so-and-so. Well, no, you could because they killed them all.
Right.
Everybody dies. I think Allie Lauder was like the only person who survived, and that's because she locked herself away in a mental institution with like a padded cell and nothing else.
Well, it's interesting because there was the original movie, and then there were 4 sequels, and
which were progressively worse.
But a combined total of $665 million for New Line Cinema, and I mean, maybe there's some money to be had here. I just.
When we're always talking about reboots or reimaginings and things like that, I'm fine if they're going to do some of the cheesy movies that were never really meant to be more than just, popcorn movies. They weren't meant, there was no dissertation on the State of the Union. There was no sort of like, let's understand the ennui of human existence. No, it's just a bunch of stupid kids getting murdered, just like, Friday the 13th movies.
Okay.
So I'm fine with them rebooting those two because who really cares at the end of the day?
Yeah, no, you're fair. All right. Now, this is not a reboot, but this is a sequel.
About time, too!
Eddie Murphy has released a statement that Coming to America 2 is officially going to happen. And honestly, I think I'm kind of excited about this.
I am, too.
Good news, everyone.
All right.
It is. Look, I think... I'm not sure if this is true or not. Or they're going. Supposedly, he's going to be Prince Akeem in the face. Like he's coming back, but the plot is maybe he's finding his son.
Yes, Akeem is trying to look for the pampered African prince who must return to America and find his long-lost son and true heir to the throne of Zamunda. So, yes, and it's going to have Arsenio Hall.
How did he have a kid though? Because he got married. How did he lose his kid? They must have. Did she go back to McDowell's, or did she run off with the crackhead Samuel L. Jackson when he tried to rob the place with a shotgun?
I don't know.
Do you remember Samuel L. Jackson was in that movie?
Yes, I do remember.
Who's the guy? The fat guy. This week I'm cleaning lettuce. Next week it's the fries. Then management. That's when the big bucks start rolling in.
Right. Yeah, I forgot
Best
the guy's name.
movie
He was a
ever.
comedian. Yeah.
Andy. I can't remember it now.
But let's see. Arsenio Hall, Shari Headley, John Amos, and James Earl Jones will be returning for this.
I wonder if they had McDowell's, instead of McDonald's. But since his daughter married an African prince, does he make a knockoff of Burger King? Like call it I don't know. Patty Prince? I like that one. The Patty Prince.
I don't know, man. I mean, that's kind of all that we have as a synopsis right now.
They
is
have
what's
the
going
golden
on.
crown. We have the diamond tiara.
I think it'll be fun, and I think it's cool. We have more area to mine in that, a new story to move forward, and it's a continuation. I'm good with that.
I think more people are going to be excited about the fact that really Eddie Murphy is kind of coming back because he fell off the planet for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
He had that awards dinner deal, and it's was the first time he'd done a stand-up routine ever. But he did so many god-awful movies back to back to back for a while. And then he dipped his toe into the more dramatic roles, which was just an abysmal failure. And it's just... I think he just fell off the face of the planet because just nothing was working for him. I don't know if this is maybe him going back to the well, but I haven't seen the Dolomite thing that he did with Netflix. That's the guy who's going to be doing this new Coming to America, the director of that. Is it on Netflix?
Dolomite is My Name on Netflix. Yeah, that was...
There's so much to watch.
Craig Brewer is the director, yeah.
So have you seen Bird Box yet, Brian?
No, I haven't. I'm
really
too busy to watch that.
Well, have you tried blindfolding yourself and driving at the same time yet either?
No.
Well, you got to do the Bird Box challenge, Brian.
No. Well, have you done it?
Of course I did it on my way over here.
Okay.
I left a swath of destruction behind me, but I made it here to be on the air.
All right, how about a potential swath of destruction? GameStop is potentially going to be sold to another company in mid-February.
Is it Atari?
No. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that, who are these guys? Sycamore Partners and Apollo Global Management are two private equity companies that are interested in buying GameStop. And I think it's interesting because GameStop is going to have to change their model, especially with so many games leaving a physical presence and going straight to digital sales. It's going to make them difficult for them to sell used games in any capacity.
Like, hey, I got this code. I already used it. Can you help me out? No.
Well, and, they, of course, merged with ThinkGeek, and that's been cool. Now you got the kind of pop culture side of most of these game stores, and that's keeps them viable, and that's great.
It's become more like a gift shop, dude. Actually, yesterday, I went to go see Skungy, and I picked up this cool Captain America backpack, but they had a bunch of stuff on clearance, so I picked up Call of Duty Risk Zombies.
Nice.
I know, and it was $25, dude.
That's cool.
$25 for a board game.
They do have good sales there. So it'll be interesting to see in the coming months what happens with GameStop.
Well, one of those equity firms, I like what it said, is just that they try to take businesses that are either in a declining market or if they're a division that has fallen out of favor with the market and consumers, and they try to do the things that either the current ownership doesn't have the time and or money to do. And so if they're going to try to re-energize GameStop, maybe get rid of some of the locations that are within 20 feet of each other.
Right.
Like on the West Bank, you can literally throw a rock and hit two GameStops.
Right, that's true.
So maybe they'll redo that. I don't know, because, really, it's just GameStop. They used to have a play and trade. You got, Second and Charles up on the North Shore, but that play and trade on Tchoupitoulas is gone. So, GameStop is, even though we love them and they're a huge sponsor of this show,
right?
I want them to stick around, but I'm not sure. Maybe these people can really come up with something and find the next big thing. But, Steam sort of seems to have the market cornered for, the digital area.
Well, but we talked about that earlier, that there are other companies that are inching in on Steam's territory as well. You got Good Old Games, and then a lot of the manufacturers are also providing their own launch platforms for their games.
Now I remember, yeah.
Yeah, so, and Steam recently revamped their profit policy to give more profit to the manufacturers. So
now I remember this conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's interesting to see what's going on. And while we're talking about games, dude, things are crazy for Activision right now. It was just announced that Bungie has split with Activision and is going to maintain its rights to Destiny. What's going on with Activision? They have lost a bunch of their executives. Right. They're providing incentives for their employment to leave the company, like they will pay them to leave, right? And
awesome.
Oh yeah, and now they're essentially giving up their rights to Destiny to go back to Bungie, which Bungie lost out when they were partnered up with Microsoft back in 2007. They lost the rights to Halo. Microsoft kept that. Okay. So now Bungie's going to get it back. And apparently they're still working with Activision so that it'll still be available on Battle.net. People will be able to, reach it there.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Destiny was that big flop, though. Remember, we played the caller who had a question about it, right?
Yeah. And that may be part of the reason that Activision is splitting that off so that they can focus more on their own intellectual property. And it wasn't the big winner for them that they thought it was. So,
Activision will always be able to go. They can fall back to one of their greatest hits ever, which was Pitfall.
Oh,
and so they could just reimagine Pitfall or just redo it. You got Resident Evil 2 that's been remastered.
Right.
So a remastered Pitfall, just that side scroller, you jump over crocodiles and just don't fall in the quicksand. You could do that for hours.
So hashtag Pitfall Remastered, that's we're going to start trending that?
Yes.
Okay.
Hashtag Pitfall Remastered, hashtag Nerdlandia.
Yes.
There you go.
Maybe it could be Pitfall set in the caverns of Nerdlandia.
Brilliant. An open world gaming of Nerdlandia. You're welcome, Merchafava.
All right,
next?
A little bit of bad news for our Star Trek fans.
No.
Star Trek 4
news, everyone.
has reportedly been shelved.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right
Was
after
it Khan's fault?
Probably.
It was the magic space blood? That's what did it. The magic space blood ruined it for everybody. This is why we can't have anything nice, Brian.
Right. So after failed contract negotiations with Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, according to Deadline, the project's been shelved by the studio. The director, Clarkson, she was the first female to be tapped to direct a Star Trek movie, has moved on to other projects like the Game of Thrones prequel series that she's going to be working on. So, maybe this will give them the opportunity to figure out what the heck they want to do with their property that they clearly don't understand, right?
Clearly. What are they doing, man? I'm just so tired of just having to be like, what are y'all doing over there, Star Trek? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Look, what are you...
We'll see what happens when this Picard series comes out. I think that I have a little hope for that.
Well, they could just have the Beastie Boys just redo all of the Star Trek soundtracks. What?
Okay, so maybe
that would work.
Maybe they'll pick it up, get a little pep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here.
That's fine. All right, last item on our Top Nerd News list is, this is cool. Netflix announces a new series from David Fincher and Deadpool's Tim Miller. It's it's an animated series called Love, Death, and Robots. And there's the series order is going to be 18 standalone shorts. Miller's animation company, Blur Studios, is producing this. And this is kind of exciting. There was a tweet that went out, and it says, werewolf soldiers, robots gone wild, sentient dairy, alien spiders, and bloodthirsty demons from hell. And I can't be more excited about this because it's new and that sounds cool. Like, all of those things sound awesome.
Love, Death, and Reboots?
Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, robots. But it's animated, right?
It is an animated series. Come
I
on.
don't like animated.
Wait, are you telling me you didn't like heavy metal?
In the 80s?
Well, still, it's an animated. Did you
That was like 4 decades ago, Brian.
So?
Get with the times.
Well, I am with the times. There's plenty of anime. I like the She-Ra Princesses of Power. That just came out recently. What?
Eye roll.
I bet your son Dean would love She-Ra.
Angie Burlier, my producer for the D-League, she despises it because she's old school She-Ra, and I can't tell you the She-Ra hate she was spewing because they destroyed her childhood.
Oh,
I'm on that team.
Are you? Because I watched the first 5 episodes of the old She-Ra, and then I watched about 8 episodes of the new She-Ra, and it's pretty spot on, like good homage to the old stuff.
Yeah, whatever. It's a reboot. It's a reboot. You know what they're going to be rebooting?
What's that?
He-Man Masters of the Universe.
Are they?
They're still working on it. Yeah. So it's Mattel has kind of revisited everything with the way that Bumblebee did well, even with critical acclaim. So Mattel is redoing all those properties. So by Bumblebee having such a great showing, they were already talking about doing. They got the Barbie live action movie coming out. That's got your girl from Suicide Squad. Harley Quinn. I can't remember her name. Yeah.
Right.
So, but
Margot Robbie.
Yes, there you go. They're redoing all of a lot of those, but it's all Mattel's property. So
that's cool.
Because we talked about Hasbro bought it back out. Because if we can get a G.I. Joe movie that's not a flaming turd like they gave us before,
right?
I'm down with it. I mean, they can make a Bumblebee movie and make it Yo Joe, and they can do it with He-Man. Dude, I'm all about it.
All right, cool. Do we have to get to a break?
Yes, we do.
All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to have our interview with New York Times bestselling author Katherine Arden talking about her latest book, The Winter of the Witch. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Mata Hari, Agent H21, is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
Now, back to the Week in Geek with local celebrity Brian Held, #LCBH. Here are your hosts, local celebrity Brian Held, and that other guy, what's his name again?
This is Brian Held from the Week in Geek radio show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. And I'm joined tonight by author Katherine Arden. How are you?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm sure you wore out because you are on tour right now for your latest book, right?
I am. I am literally on tour right this minute, which means I've been flying every day for the last 5 days. And that's a lot of flying, Brian.
Oh, no.
As I'm sure you can imagine.
Absolutely. Now, of course, that new book is The Winter of the Witch. It just hit bookstands on January 8th, this past Tuesday. You know, we had the pleasure of having you on twice before. In 2017, you had on the front and back ends, you put out the first two books in this, what is it, the Winter Night trilogy, right? Yes.
That's correct, yep.
And so here we are at the end. So if you could, just give me a short snippet of kind of where we're at going into this.
So this book picks up right where the second book, called The Girl in the Tower, ended. They really almost could be read as one kind of long sequence, the three books. They don't have a chronological break. So this book picks up right as the old one finishes, and just a whole lot happens very quickly. The main character, the heroine Vasilisa, goes through a ton of challenges, and hold on to your hats. It's definitely the wildest ride of the three.
Well, and I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, right out of the gate, you know, we're stepping off the heels of The Girl in the Tower, and you just throw her right in the mix, you know, in the beginning pages of The Winter of the Witch. I mean, I thought it was very intense, and I haven't read Girl in the Tower in a while, so, I mean, as soon as I picked it up, I'm like, I know exactly where we're at. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I mean, it's the third book in the series. Like, it is the climax. Like, each book, the world's gotten bigger, the stakes have gotten higher in each book, and I felt like the third one just had to raise the stakes as high as they could go, and I definitely did my best in that regard.
Well, and one of the things that I really appreciate about this series is it is bore out of Russian folklore, and it's your kind of this fictional spin on it. But tell me about the Battle of Kulikovo, which is a big focus of this book.
So the Battle of Kulikovo really happened. The historical battle that took place in September of 1380, so the late 14th century, between the Russians under Moscow, under the Grand Prince of Moscow, whose name was Dmitry Ivanovich. Later on, he'll be called Dmitry Donskoy, which means Dmitry of the Don, because this battle took place on the Don River. It was kind of Dmitry's crowning achievement. It's between the Russians and the Mongols, the Golden Horde, which is the branch of the Mongol Empire that administered Russia, or Rus at the time.
Okay.
And it's historically significant because it marks the first time that the various Russian principalities, who each had their own prince, united under Moscow to defeat a common enemy. And so it has been argued that this battle marked the beginning of Russia as a state. Obviously, that's not the only interpretation. There's many other ones, but that's the interpretation I chose to use historically in my novel. Many of the events that take place in the book actually happened. I don't want to go too far into them because I'm afraid of spoilers, but a lot of the sort of end game of the book goes along with the historical record.
So this has been a long time coming. I believe 2011 is when you started with The Bear and the Nightingale. You started getting on that path, and here we are. This is the absolute end of this trilogy, right? This
is the absolute end. It took 7 years from start to finish, although I think the bulk of the work took place from 2015 and 2018. I finished The Bear and the Nightingale in 2012, and the sort of space between finishing it and getting it published was long, and then the work on the last two books took place in a much sort of tighter time frame.
Okay.
But yeah, it finally happened. Like 3 books, 3 different plots, one giant overarching plot, a lot of threads to tie up. It was a big endeavor.
No, but you made it to the finish line, and I think it's great too that, you know, this is compact. It's 3 books. It's not, 24 novels, and we're still kind of getting somewhere. I mean, this is not difficult to consume, so thanks for that.
I mean, I do like things that come to an end. As a reader, I personally prefer stories that resolve.
Right.
I know that's it's a personal preference, but I wanted to write a trilogy that had 3 books with 3 self-contained plots, also 1 giant overarching plot that at the end of the 3rd book would have resolved all of the plot questions raised in the past 2 installments. So it was kind of almost a challenge as a writer to write something that felt very complete in and of itself. Plenty of people have asked for more adventures, but no one has said you have to write more because you forgot to answer this question.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah.
So we're talking with Katherine Arden, author of The Winter of the Witch. So now that you're at the end here, where do you go from here? What's next in the queue? I know you have a book called Small Spaces that came out last September. Is that sort of the new launching pad for you? Are you moving down that path?
So it's a great question. I'm really going in 2 directions, Brian. I am writing a series of middle grade novels. The first one was called Small Spaces. It is a middle grade horror novel set in the fall in Vermont, which came out, as you said, in September. There will be a sequel to Small Spaces out next August, set in the winter in Vermont, and it's called Dead Voices.
All right.
And so that's kind of the middle grade side. And then on the adult side, there's going to be 3 more books coming from me.
Okay.
From Rey Books, my publisher. The first one is going to be a standalone, and it is set in Belgium during the early 20th century, during the First World War.
Oh, nice.
So, and I'm working on that now, and I'm very excited.
Cool. So, I mean, I know you have a background in Russian history, and you lived in Russia for a while. I mean, do you also have Belgian history as well?
Not per se, but I lived in France. I spent a year in France when I was 16, and then another year as a college student, and then I taught English in France for a year as a young adult in my early 20s. And I've always loved, like, France, and I've always been fascinated by World War I in particular. And so I had an idea for a book set not in France but in Flanders in Belgium, so just north of that area, and I just wanted to do it. It's fascinating. Of course, we just had the World War I centennial this past year, so I felt like it was time, and I'm very excited for this book.
No, that's great. And this begs the question, I'm assuming you're a big fan of the Wonder Woman movie? Maybe not?
Oh God, I'm going to be lynched by your listeners, I'm sure, but I was not a huge fan.
Oh, okay. I just, I figured the World War I setting,
I mean, to be totally honest, Brian, and again, I'm sorry to all the listeners who are probably howling right now, but I felt like the scale of the human tragedy that took place during the First World War was so unimaginably vast,
right,
that to me it sort of almost demeaned the tragedy of this war to have this spangly superhero woman like sprinting across no man's land in her like thigh boots and bustier. Like, it just didn't work for me.
Wow. I understand where you're coming from. I can see that. Yeah. Wow. That's...
so I'm sorry.
No, that's
yeah.
Hey, look, kudos to you for being honest and holding to your guns. That's great. So you're on tour right now, and I was looking at some of your recent tweets. How many extra suitcases full of books are you trailing around with now?
Suitcases full of books. I have my backpack and my laptop, and that is the extent of my travel arrangements. When you're on book tour, checking a bag is the worst idea ever, because you fly every single day. So one misconnection, one thing, and you're done.
Right. No, I saw that you like to, when you get into bookstores, you like to pick up too many books. So I have them mail them to me. I can't bring them along. I would be doomed. But so far I have picked up 6 books on this tour. Okay. All right. That's fair.
Because I cannot help myself in the slightest. Most booksellers are really kind and are willing to put it in the post office, put it in the mail for me.
No, that's cool. So one last thing, and this was interesting. One of your recent tweets was about your writing process and the unorthodox way in which you personally go about doing it, because it's your deal. That's how you get it done. You want to talk about that for any aspiring authors out there?
Yeah, of course. So the tweet you referred to, I sort of just said how I personally am not a writer who outlines or plans their books in advance. And this tweet was in response to a reader who just said they were impressed at how well planned out my trilogy seemed. And I kind of wanted to react to that because I did not plan to have my 3 books go the way they went. They were really a product of trial and error, of fitting things together and seeing what worked, of backtracking, of going forward. It was really a question of feeling out the books as I go. And for me, I have trouble conceptualizing a plot of a book before I actually start writing the book.
Okay.
Which makes it hard to outline. And also, I like it when my book surprises me. I like to be taken in unusual directions and really kind of almost allow for intuition to play a role in how the book is shaped. And I think sticking to an outline, for me at least, feels very confining.
No.
So I do not plan. I just go for it and shoot from the hip. And that sometimes leads to great things. It sometimes leads to many wasted hours while I backtrack and get myself out of a just dead end.
Right.
But it is my style and it has worked for me. So I'm probably going to stick with it.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So, Katherine, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Would you tell folks out there how they can find your latest book, The Winter of the Witch, and how they can keep up with your new series that you're working on and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. So, Winter of the Witch is the 3rd book in the Winter Night trilogy. The first book is called The Bear and the Nightingale. The second book is called The Girl in the Tower. And all 3 books are available pretty much anywhere books are sold, as well as on the internet. And you can keep up with me and all my work by going to my website, which is katherinearden.com, or following me on Instagram or Twitter at Arden_Katherine.
Fantastic. Well, Katherine, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm so glad you had the time for us today.
Thank you so much, Brian. I really enjoyed talking to you as well. And again, thank you for all three interviews over three books, 3 years. It's been great.
No, it's great. All right, gang, when we get back, we're going to have our in-studio interview with Miss Rachel Pizzolato, one of the young stars on the new Mythbusters Jr. with Adam Savage. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Now, back to the Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Yeah, you definitely want to tell your enemies.
Welcome back into the Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm D Squared along with
Brian Held.
Hi, Brian. We have another second interview tonight.
We absolutely do, with our special in-studio guest, Miss Rachel Pizzolato. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, normally we introduce folks as author or actor or whatever. I don't know where to start because you are into so much stuff. So your tagline, beauty and brains with a twist, right? Let's start on the brain stuff, right? You are super involved in science fairs, right?
Yeah, I've been doing science fairs ever since I was about 10 years old. And my dad has been teaching me how to build and weld and use saws and stuff like that. So these science fair projects have built basically my career as a Mythbuster.
Okay, and we're getting there. All right, so now just to set the record straight, you mentioned you started at 10. You're 14 right now.
Yes.
Oh, it's crazy.
So she's accomplished more in 4 years than I have in 40? Is that what's going on here?
Pretty much, man.
Jeez,
In fact, I wanted to ask, do you sleep at all?
Not really.
Okay, I figured it must be. Now, the Broadcom Masters, that is a national level science fair that you were in?
It's an international science fair for grades 6 through 8.
All right.
And I was nominated to go top 300 first and top 30 for 6th grade and 7th grade. And I recently won the team award for my first year.
Wow.
And I've been able to go back for my 8th grade, and I only made top 300, but I'm pretty good with that.
Absolutely. Now, tell me about what it is, because you showed me some things that you were working on with, was it turbines?
It's vertical axis wind turbines, also called VOTs.
Okay, and what do these things do?
There's a lot of different aspects you can put into the turbines, but my field of research is trying to improve the efficiency of a turbine.
Okay.
And ways to put them into the environment.
All right.
And the first project that I did was a vertical axis wind turbine, a VOT, on the side of a road. Can a car pass it and it produce electricity?
Okay, that
Yes,
sounds cool.
it can.
Right. All right, nice. All right.
And ever since there, I've been doing 5 years of that research, and that all led to my current science fair project, which has a very long title if you want to know.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay. Improving 3D printed turbine efficiency by exploiting the Lotus effect through the application of silicon nanoparticles to turbine blade surfaces and varying the wind diverter angle of a venturi.
That is a mouthful.
I caught the first few words, but after that, I got lost.
All right, so I think I maybe followed a little bit of that, but what's the short version of that?
So my current research is having 2 skyscrapers, and then in between is a venturi, which is a constriction. There's also diverter doors, which you can basically find the sweet spot to where the air goes into the venturi and produces the most electricity when it hits the turbines.
Okay, all right.
But the turbines, they're not regular turbines. They have silicon nanoparticles, which is a super hydrophobic coating, and that allows all the dirt and any type of air or fluid to roll right off of it.
Okay, all right.
That improves its efficiency. And also tubercles. Those are a humpback whale's fins. It improves biomimicry. So all those things combined creates an efficient turbine.
Wow. All right. So you would probably want to install this in a large city. Right,
yep.
Between skyscrapers. Okay, no, that's cool. And then it would be another more green way to generate electricity.
Yep, it's a very viable energy source.
Wow.
I'm completely lost. Y'all just keep talking.
No, we're gonna.
I'm not a smart man.
No, we're gonna tie you in right here because we said it at the beginning. The tagline: "Beauty and brains with a twist." So let's focus on the beauty. You have been doing a number of pageants, and you have aspirations for Miss USA. So tell me about that side of things.
Ever since I was about 4 years old, I've been involved in pageantry, and I've won over 300 pageant titles since then. And I've won Miss Louisiana, Miss Baton Rouge, Miss New Orleans, Miss Jefferson Parish, Miss Lake Charles. I've won basically anything in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles.
Wow.
So I'm pretty proud of that. But my main goal is to be Miss USA or Miss Teen USA, which I'm getting that building block on from those pageants that I've done before.
Okay. All right, cool. Do you feel like an underachiever yet, Dave?
Absolutely. I'm going to go take a coffee break.
Yeah. No. So All right, well, that's absolutely incredible. I mean, you've got so much on your plate, and then you're adding to it. You're continuing to add to it. So tell me about getting on Mythbusters Jr. with Adam Savage.
The science fair projects that I did before, those all led up to me being on the news, me having a YouTube channel, the Instagram and the Twitter. And then all of that combined, there was this audition. And I didn't really know about it because they called my dad for about 3 months, and he doesn't pick up the phone. Kind of crazy.
That sounds like Dave.
Yeah, sounds like you. But for 3 months, he didn't pick up the phone. And then after about 3 months, he finally picked up the phone, and then bam, it was, we want you for this show.
Wow.
But they wouldn't tell us the title. So they made me do Skype interviews and say these types of lines. Big myths, small busters.
Okay.
And then that basically gave it away for Mythbusters Jr.
All right. All right, cool. So now this is the rebranding, I guess, of Mythbusters. They've been off the air for a while, and this is them coming back out of the gate. So, I mean, how was it hanging out with Adam Savage?
I mean, the first day we got on set, we were just hanging out with 6 kids, you know, as we normally would. And we were shooting the first, premiere of telling about ourselves. And then, bam, he just pops up. Adam Savage, which we didn't know anything about. He just pops up, and we all scream, we all shout. This is the original Mythbusters on our set right now. This is, the most unbelievable thing that could have ever happened.
Oh, yeah.
And Adam Savage, he gets along with us so well. He knows how to interact. He knows how to talk with the little kids so well. And it just brings out the best in all of us.
No, that's super cool. So it recently just started on air. It's a Discovery Channel, right?
Discovery and Science.
Oh, Discovery. Okay. And that was, a week ago it started?
January 2nd.
January 2nd. All right. And how many episodes in this season?
Whole season is 10 episodes long.
Okay. All right. So we're still in the mix. So what are some of the things that you got to do while participating in that?
The first episode was duct tape tires. Can you make a tire out of duct tape with
Yes, you can. I've ridden on one.
Right? I mean,
it's
okay.
Not a myth.
It's not a myth at all. And the other one was the other group, which I don't even know what it was, but I think it was.
It wasn't good, huh?
No, it was. Oh my! I don't know. It was something.
Are you throwing shade? Is that what's going on?
I'm not throwing shade. Come on. I just have a bad memory. But the duct tape tires. If you have 47 rolls of duct tape in the back of your car, I mean,
you're good.
You're good to go.
So 47 rolls of duct tape versus a spare. Got you.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can just make it yourself.
Economically feasible to me.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
But
what time does it come on?
Oh, Science Channel. It's at night, 7 or 8 a.m. 7 or 8 p.m.
Right.
And then Discovery Channel, it comes on 12 a.m. Saturday.
Okay, and I'm sure that's available streaming and all that kind of stuff.
It is, yep, on the internet.
Cool. So what's next? What's on your plate to go to? What I mean, you still working on science fair stuff? Or, I mean, I saw you were at the Background Awards, Background Actors Guild Awards, right?
Yeah, last night I went to the BAG Awards, Background Actors Guild Awards, and I was accompanied by Bill Rainey. He's a background actor, and he gave me the opportunity to give out the awards. And at these events, you get to meet so many different people, and then that's where you get all the opportunities. So it's not just trampoline or it's not just science. It's also meeting people in different environments that lead you up to these opportunities.
You know, you just reminded me, we forgot to talk about the twist.
Yes.
Right? Beauty and Brains with a twist.
We got time.
Yeah. So you mentioned it's gymnastics, right?
It is
the twist, right?
Yep.
So tell me about that.
I've been doing some gymnastics ever since I was about 8 years old. And at first I was not really good. I had no coordination at all. But I worked my way towards trampoline. I originally did trampoline, tumbling, and double mini. And I mean, the tumbling part was hard on my body, so I leaned more towards the trampoline. And ever since I just did trampoline in particular, I won the Level 8 National Championship.
Wow.
Which was a big succeed for me.
Yeah.
And it was like the first, I've been trying for this national championship for about 6 years.
All right.
Every time I would get third or second, I would never get that first place. But once I got it, it was like the best feeling in the entire world. That was a game changer.
No, that's cool. Now, Don't you have Olympic aspirations as well?
I do. A lot of people say, you're such a good gymnast and trampolinist, you should go to the Olympics. I'm like, okay, I'm aspiring to. In the Olympics, the 2024 and 2028 Olympics, that's what I'm mainly hoping for trampoline.
So how?
I feel like such a failure right now.
Right.
No.
Just crawl under a desk and hide at this point, right?
I am.
So, I mean, how would you balance all of that, right? Like, how does that happen?
As you said before, sleep is a very big thing. Like I do school, and then I go to gymnastics, and then I have events at like 3 a.m. for modeling. And so basically I don't sleep until everything is done.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, you know, our 5 guys in the military get sleep whenever they can. I'm guessing you're on that same model.
I'm on their schedule.
Wow.
All right, so what's next for you, and how can people find out more about what's going on in your career, what you've got going on, like social media and all that?
I have a lot of social media. The YouTube channel, Beauty and Brains with a Twist. I have a website, beautyandbrainswithatwist.com, Twitter, Beauty Brain Twist 2112, and Instagram, Beauty and Brains with a Twist.
Fantastic. All right, well, we're going to keep you around after the show to get some bonus content for our podcast listeners. So, you good for that?
I'm good.
Thanks so much
great.
for being on, yeah. All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as Tea of the Necropolis, Quantum Mechanics, Spider Witch, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game. Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
This is the Week in Geek with D Squared and Brian Held.
Outstanding.
Miss any of today's show? Download the Geek podcast at WRNO.com. Here are your hosts, D Squared and Brian Held.
Welcome back into the Week in Geek. As always, want to strongly urge you to check out the website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. Like us on Facebook at The Week in Geek Radio Show. And whatever the hell else it is I'm supposed to say, Brian. Stop staring at me, Brian. I screwed it up, okay?
It's quite all right.
It's a mulligan. Shut up.
Well, if you want to hear Dave screw up again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app. Dave?
I don't know. I'm not paying attention.
Your Mama's House.
Oh, Your Mama's
and
House.
And at WRNO.com.
You can't rush genius, okay?
All right.
This Week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my God!
This Week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This Week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Da-na-na, da-na-na, wow.
All right, Dave, I got some really old ones on this list. You ready?
Sure.
All right.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
January 7th, 1929. Buck Rogers, 2429 AD, and Tarzan, two of the first adventure comic strips, debut through a syndication company, leading the way to popularization of the science fiction genre, first in print and then in serialized films.
When was the crossover? That's all I care about now.
Well,
when was the crossover?
I mean, this is
the
when
mashup.
Between Buck Rogers and Tarzan?
Yeah.
I don't know that it ever happened.
Tarzan of the 24th and a half century. Pew, 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 pew.
All
It'd
right.
be fun. Like spacemen in leopard print pants. It'd be awesome. You're welcome, world.
Man, now you see, you just gave that idea away. You could have copyrighted. We could have made a movie and stuff.
I'm a giving person. I like to share.
Uh-huh.
You go. What's next, sir?
All right, January 10th, 1927. The first science fiction film in history, directed by Fritz Lang. Do you know it?
Oh, it's the Metropolis.
Metropolis premieres in theaters.
I thought it was that.
No. It was.
Are you going to the opera? Why are you wearing a cape? you have asthma.
Right.
Sorry. Squirrel.
No, it's cool. It took 2 years to shoot, cost more to produce than any other prior silent film.
Jeez.
And it had all kind of new special effects for the time. It was pretty crazy.
But it's just a footnote in history now?
Well, it is. Right.
Wow.
Because
Poor guy.
we have the guy who was breathing now.
And I saw a T-shirt.
For
Metropolis.
That's true.
Wow.
That's true.
Branding. All about branding.
All about
What's
branding.
next?
All right. January 11th, 1902. Sees the very first publication of Popular Mechanics. The magazine, right?
1902?
1902, yes, sir.
So it's like the birth of diesel punk in like print form or something?
Pretty much. It had 5 paying subscribers at the very first release.
John Smith Jr., John Smith III.
And it was
like the whole family. It's like he like they came to his door. He's like, I'm going to subscribe my whole family. Mazel tov.
Right.
I bet that's what happened.
And it was only a nickel a copy, Dave. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In my day, bananas only cost a nickel.
Right. Now, this one's kind of fun. January 12th, 1997.
Finally something.
Yes. Is a day that sees the operation of the HAL 9000, according to the 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm sorry, Brian. I can't do that. I'm not going to say my own name. That would just be weird.
That would be weird. Let's see. Oh, you're going to hate this one.
I'm sure.
All right, last one on my list, really old. January 13th, 1404.
Can't follow numbers, Brian.
The English Parliament passes the Act of Multipliers, forbidding alchemists from using transmutation to create or multiply precious metals, specifically gold and silver. So,
what did they have to use, like mercury or something like it would give them radioactive, like glowing skin and stuff?
well, yeah, but it doesn't work, Dave.
That and haberdashers and people who make clocks.
Right?
Crazy
No,
glue-sniffing clock makers.
haberdashers are milliners.
No, haberdashers make hats.
Well, no.
I don't know where the clock thing came from because, the bioluminescent stuff we had radioactivity in it. It made people bonkers.
I
don't know the stuff. I just watch it on TV and I'm like, that's nifty. I'm going to squirrel that nugget away.
I think it's funny. The act comes in response to the widespread fear that alchemists would succeed in their projects and ruin the nation or install a despot. And in 1689, Robert Boyle lobbied for a repeal of the act. So clearly,
On Entertainment Tonight, year is 1402. Gold for everyone. Gold. I'm crazy about gold. All right.
you're terrible. All right, you ready for the birthdays?
Sure.
All right, on the 7th, everyone's favorite Nicolas Cage.
That dude is nuts.
But, the 2-Minute Cage
I'm going
loves
to go
him.
build a pyramid.
Yeah.
Put my corpse in it.
Right. On the 8th, Terry Brooks, former guest of our show.
Yeah, I like
Shannara
him.
Chronicles, yeah.
I'm
And then,
actually still reading the other book, that advanced copy. That is already in print.
Right. On the 9th, J.K. Simmons. He's been in all kind of stuff. But
he got all buff for, was it Justice League or whatever?
Yeah.
See, I know stuff.
On the 10th, Jermaine Clement, who was one half of the Flight of the Conchords.
Wow, that's obscure.
It is. Look.
Did you lose a bet?
No.
Don't lose bets and waste our airtime with that.
On the 12th, Jessie Graff. She is a stunt performer who's been in all kind of stuff. Live Free or Die Hard, X-Men First Class, Transformers, all that good stuff. And then on the 13th, your heartthrob, Orlando Bloom.
Hey, you go with what you know. All right, that's a wrap. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, all that jazz. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.
Walton and Johnson, making mornings great on News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans. An iHeart radio station.
Captain's Log Supplemental. I don't know the star date. This is the Week in Geek. I am D Squared along with
Brian Held.
It's a supplemental, right?
Yes.
We don't do too many of these, so I'm really confused as to how to open it up.
All right, we'll figure that out at some point.
Welcome into the Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. All right, Brian, Captain's Log Supplemental. We had Miss Pizzolato.
Yes.
Just on the air, but now we're doing extra content because her resume is probably longer than yours and mine combined. And what do you 14, 16, 14?
14.
Sweet Mary Mother of Pearl.
If we took both of our resumes, combined them, quadrupled them,
and stapled them to like the phone book,
hers would still be bigger. It's
probably
crazy. So let's talk about science, right? You talked a little bit about the turbines and everything. I mean, what got you started in turbines? Like, why was that interesting to you, and why'd you dig into it?
So, I went to the 2012.
She built a time machine too.
I did, yes. 2012 National Championship for gymnastics, and I was driving. I think it was near California.
All right.
And I saw these big old wind turbines.
Right.
And they were horizontal. So when I thought of a horizontal wind turbine, I was like, what's the difference between a horizontal and a vertical wind turbine? I didn't know back then, but now I know right now. Yeah. So when we were in the car, I was thinking, if you put one of those turbines right near this car and the car passes it, will it produce electricity?
Okay.
And so that was the first project that I started. And then the second one was trying to figure out if an angle on the turbine would improve its efficiency.
All right.
And then the next project was the blade design. If the blade design changed, would it improve the turbine efficiency?
All right.
And then the next project, we've had like 5 projects already. So for the 5th project, that was getting into the biomimicry and the lotus effect. So the lotus effect was having like the super hydrophobic coating, as I said before, where the dirt and the air and the water would basically just roll right off of it, and it would guide smoothly through the air. And then in the biomimicry part, it was having the tubercles from the humpback whale's fins involved in the blade design. So when I had these turbines, they were basically as efficient as I could possibly get them so far.
Okay.
And they were also 3D printed with an SLS printer, so it was a selective laser sintering. Try to say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
And that was basically the most improved turbine I had so far. And that's basically where I am right now. But these turbines can be input wherever you want them, like elevator shafts, buildings and skyscrapers, like basically anywhere you want them to be. They can produce electricity.
So let's step back for a second, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around, we mentioned you're 14, and you said 2012. You're probably about 7 or 8.
Yes.
Like how
She's Hermione Granger. She's got one of those little things. Bing, she goes back in time.
A time turner, yes.
Yep.
So I mean, how does a 7 or 8 year old like get started? Like, I mean, how do you get started on that? You're like, I mean, I figure like action figures and cartoons are what you're into at that age, and here you are thinking about turbines. Where was that first step to get, like, you thought about it, but how did you act on it is kind of what I'm getting to.
Okay, well, I guess around 3. my grandpa, he had a watch, and he would always tell me the components of the watch, and then he would break it down. And so then he taught me how to build and how to weld. And once I knew how to build and the weld, my brain kind of matured in more of the sciencey way.
All right.
And then I saw different things from a different perspective. I've always seen things as just a thing. I've never seen it as the broken down pieces of that thing. And so once I saw the broken down pieces, it all made sense on how it worked. So when I saw the turbine, I was thinking logically on how the different angles, the different blades, the different horizontal from vertical, how these things make up the turbine. And from there, my brain has thought about how to improve this turbine.
All right. Okay, cool. So you put all this together, right? And you started entering science fairs, right? I'm guessing at a local level, right?
Yeah.
With your school?
My school fair, yep.
Okay. And then, you win there, you go regional, national, international, all that kind of stuff. Because we didn't touch on it earlier. You also were part of the Greater New Orleans Science and Engineering Fair, right? So is that your regional one?
Yes, it is. And I won the 3-time championship award 3 times in a row. And that was, I think, the first time it's ever happened to a person. So I think I just made history for them.
Wow, the trifecta. Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's perfect.
So, is that now? If I'm not mistaken, you mentioned at some point we were talking. You want to go to MIT, right? So,
True.
Is that sort of the direction? Do you want to continue to focus on engineering and these turbine technologies going forward, or you have other aspirations?
The overall goal is to get into MIT. But I still have side jobs, which is modeling and trampoline and dealing with the engineering parts. But they all interact with each other. It's not just like I have to choose one from the other. I can't drop any of them because they're all my life, and I want to do whatever I want to do, which it doesn't matter if it's science or beauty or the twist part of my life. I can do all of it at one time.
Okay. Well, it does seem like once you get to college, right, there's usually a very heavy workload that you put a lot of focus on that, but you're going to balance it out and just not sleep.
I will figure out a way to get all of my aspects of my life, the beauty, the brains, and the twist, all when I'm into college. All of them. Yep.
Well, she's determined,
I'm determined.
Man. I'm motivated. I want to go out and build something right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like... We need to get some more. There's more nerd bars out there. We need to get more plaques done. So, that's what I'm going to work on. But
just over half the audience's head.
Yeah, sorry, but that's a whole nother story. Regardless, so you're working on all of these things, and the science stuff. So, is there any other areas of science that you're dipping into besides engineering and turbines, or that play into what you're working on?
Technically, there's I like to draw. There's architecture that I can go into. There's I have a lot of animals, environmental science, or I have a lot of aspirations that I want to be as a scientist. It's not just engineering. I'm not just good at engineering. It's trying to help the world as a whole. It's trying to do the environment with the turbines, with the engineering, with everything else involved with science. Science is not just involved with categories. Science is everything in the world.
True, and I 1,000% agree. It's just usually people focus on one, and you're not going to be put in that box.
No, you don't have to. It's not that decision that you need to make. It's just science.
All right,
they're all interconnected. Just when you talk the biomimicry thing too, my mind is just weird. So I just imagined a duck and a whale tapped on like a little pinwheel, just going. Wee!
Exactly. Yep.
But I get where you're going because all that stuff is commingled and it's all
they're interconnected.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that we talked about, I want to kind of shift gears slightly into not the twist, but acting. So. We talked about Mythbusters Jr. on air, and I was like, well, is that your first acting experience? And you were like, well, that's reality television, but you do have some acting experience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I've been doing theater for 7 years probably, and I had a theater coach, I had an acting coach, and the pageantry, too. It also teaches you how to present yourself and speak in front of a crowd.
Right.
So that everything leading up to the acting and the pageantry has taught me how to speak in front of a camera for Mythbusters.
Okay. So, I mean, theater and Mythbusters are it as far as acting is concerned right now.
Kind of.
Are you going in any of that direction simultaneously, or no? You're just going to stay focused on what's on your plate right now?
If I can gain something from Mythbusters and the acting, I will. Like anything that I can persuade myself to do, and also the Beauty and the Brains with the twist. Like, there's not just one thing I want to do. You can have anything in the world. It would be everything.
Right.
That's what I want to do. I want to do everything. I want to be the best that I can be, even if it's just focusing on acting or science or twisting. It just depends on what you like to do most.
Right. Now, what's funny is I was talking to your dad, and he mentioned about how you have conversations with people who are engineers and in the science fields, and they're like, all right, well, where are you working and doing this research? And you are in which grade?
I'm in 9th grade.
Cool. Wow. So you still got 3 years to go. You've got
do.
Yeah, and
I feel like I got to go home and yell at my 12-year-old. What are you doing with your life?
Right. Isn't he going to be a YouTube streamer?
God, no.
No?
I hope not.
No,
I don't know.
Come on.
I mean, that could be a career for him.
It could, but that's a different story. No, I'm just like drawing parallels to your life to my life. Though it's like when I was a kid, my mother threw me into voice lessons because I can carry a tune in a bucket, and so I was hyper focused on that. And really, though, like you're talking about juggling all these other things, and I know I spent so much time doing the theater and the vocal and all that stuff. That's why, like, I'm behind a mic and I don't mind put me in front of 10,000 people. I ain't gonna bat an eye. But I didn't really do all the other stuff. So I think that's why I'm still having trouble wrapping my mind around all the stuff that you're able to do. Just the amount of time in a day. You know, I think that's what I'm just more amazed at, really. Yes.
And that's why I go on the 24-hour system.
Yeah, right,
and
right.
not the 12.
So, gymnastics, you said you started that at 3, right?
7.
7, okay. And, I mean, I suppose I could see the pattern. Like, I mean, I'm guessing you get up early, you work out, and then you go do some science, and then maybe get to school, and right? That, and, I mean, how do you... Because a lot of these functions happen, I guess, on the weekends, right? So
they do.
You're traveling a lot, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're eating up her valuable time right now, Brian.
But this is valuable for her to be here and talk to the masses, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. So
let them eat cake.
Right. Now, something that I heard you and your dad talking about was TED Talks. Yeah, tell me about that.
Next weekend, I think Saturday, I'm going to have a TED Talk. Well, a laid-back TED Talk, but it's still going to be in front of like 2,000 LSU students and scientists that I have to speak professionally, 10 to 12-minute presentation about my project to them, and it's going to be the most stressful and nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my life, but I'm going to do it.
Why is it going to be stressful?
Because it's having everyone judge you around. Like, it's not just one person thinking about your project. It's everyone having these opinions directly towards you.
Right. But, I mean, haven't you spoken before a large body before?
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, they are very understanding, but when it gets to more higher levels, especially with the professional scientist, then they get really picky and choosy on how you perform your test, and then they criticize you about if this test is actually going to work. So I'm kind of nervous, but I know that if I just speak the way I speak and if I try to persuade them on my point of view,
right,
then it'll all go smoothly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that part of the entire peer review process where I mean, if you cannot defend your position, it's not worth defending.
Exactly, yes.
Right. Okay. And, you've done it before, so you're going to be fine. So
thank you.
Where is that going to be televised or streamed, or do you know?
I think it is going to be streamed. I don't think televised. Not sure for that.
Yeah.
It's probably LSU.net.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, I didn't realize we had TED Talks going on down here. That's kind of cool. Yeah. No, good deal. Awesome. So, Dave?
Yes.
Are you stunned?
I'm really just having trouble wrapping my
Yeah.
No, it's just, look, we meet a lot of just exceptional people, all right?
Yes.
And our standards, apparently we have very low standards, because I'm like, you're like, we thought this was really good, like right about my head level, but you're like way up here, and I think it's just, I don't know, it's amazing what you've managed to accomplish at this point, and I think that's just, you know, as a parent, I'm very happy for your father, because holy crap.
Right.
We have to bleep that out, I guess.
No, it's crap's fine.
Okay.
So we're still one of.
But
Yeah.
With the peer review stuff, though, I mean, like, in essence, though, are they trying to dismantle your theory, or is this something where it's like working together to solve a common issue, to try to like are they intentionally trying to shoot you down, or trying to give you instruction as to build you up?
I'm pretty sure they're trying to give me instructions, because they don't want to like criticize me to where they're like bullying me. No,
Right,
they want
right.
Yeah, they just want a common criticism and build me up to know what I'm doing wrong.
Okay.
All right. I mean, you know.
Well, then I agree. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, wouldn't that be kind of unfair? I mean, like, here's this ninth grader
That's life, though.
rolling into in front of these scientists, and be like, you know, get off the stage. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, that wouldn't even be right.
Yes.
Yeah. Man. So
Well, if I got up there, I'd be like, here's a duck and a whale strapped to a pinwheel. Put it on the highway.
So, but I think Dave brings a good point, though, is that the people that we normally interview are very good at one thing, and that's it. And it appears that you're very good at a large amount of things.
It's the multitasking thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. So, I mean, anything else that you want to dig into, you want to bring up?
I mean, there's a lot of people that have helped me through this journey, and my teacher, Miss Bookvault, and Dr. Ortling, and there's a lot of scientists and professionals that have helped me with my science fair project and get me to Mythbusters Jr.,
right?
Which is a televised TV show, which I never believed that I would actually get onto. Like, imagine 15 years of Mythbusters, the original, and then getting onto Mythbusters Jr. with the host, Adam Savage.
Yeah.
That is like the most incredible thing that has happened to me by far in my entire life.
No, that's cool.
Where do you see yourself, like, I don't know, just say like 10 years from now?
Yeah.
I mean, just like what is the trajectory that you expect for yourself? Is it something where, you know, with MIT, but after all that? I mean, you seem like somebody who's got a plan already laid out. So what is it really just to, you know, create a better environment and or, you know, renewable clean energy?
While looking fabulous.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
And doing the ribbon thing.
Oh, yep.
I do the ribbons. You do trampoline.
Yep. Exactly.
But I mean, where do you see yourself, and what is the goal? Because I mean, obviously, everybody's always working towards something, and so you've got so many irons in the fire. They're all working towards what?
I see myself being a very successful person with everything that I do, because I don't give up on anything, no matter what it is. If it's a hard time, if it's getting into MIT and it's the most difficult battle I've ever defeated, then I'm going to defeat it. I'm going to make sure that I get what I want, and I'm determined through this entire journey. So, I mean, the beauty and the brains and the twist, all of that's great, but if I don't achieve either one of or all of them, then I feel like a letdown. So I at least have to get one of the three. I am very determined on getting at least one of the three.
All right. So maybe
I think people would doubt you at their own whatever the fancy word is I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe you get a career as a scientist and do further research, and then beauty pageants on the side, and I guess gymnastics as well. You know. I want to remind you, just to throw another, you know, iron in the fire for you, that when you get to MIT, they do have a pirate certificate that you can get. You can be a pirate. So just want to let you know that it's out there. It's on the deal. It's not. They don't broadcast it. You got to kind of know. All right. So go search that.
Yeah, that's another thing on my resume. Sure.
Right, because you got to do some fencing and stuff, and
great.
They also dress fabulous. I just want to. It's out there.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't know you anymore.
What?
I don't know you anymore.
Where did he go?
I don't know. We went down the rabbit hole. We can't follow.
All right, Rachel, why don't you go ahead and give us all those social media links again where folks can find you and keep up with you?
Okay, YouTube, Beauty and Brains with the Twist. Twitter, BrainTwist2112. Instagram, Beauty and Brains with a Twist, and my website, beautyandbrainswithatwist.com.
You got branding down pat.
Oh, I'm trying.
She's ready to go.
I try my hardest.
That is everything. I mean, look, I mean, obviously you have a great team with your parents behind you. I mean, that's having that support system and a team all working towards a common goal. I mean, it's so cheesy, and I hate it when we're in these corporate meetings here at iHeart. But every now and again, teamwork makes the dream work. But it's painfully true.
But mostly I try to be an example to any kid out there, boy or girl, whatever gender. I try to be the best example for them. And if they need anyone to look up to, it should be me, because I will have an immediate response and I will tell them the best advice that I possibly can.
Do you get a lot of like fan mail or just people asking for your opinion on things like that?
I do. I get a lot of direct messages, and I get a lot of people come up to me and say, how did you get into this? I'm like, just follow your passions.
Yeah.
It will lead you somewhere, and that somewhere might even be your success.
Absolutely. I mean, you're behind a microphone, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it was a hard road too, man.
Every journey is a hard road.
Absolutely. All right, Dave, you got anything else?
No.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to definitely be keeping an eye on you and all your accomplishments, and maybe get you back in the studio sometime soon. Dave, our guest next week is going to be someone from the scifiction.com folks. Are going to send us somebody else over. I'm still booking it right now. So,
really? Okay.
Yes, that's kind of where we're at.
I'm stalling so I can find some music. Here we go.
Okay. All right.
We'll go out to some Indiana Jones.
Fantastic.
Oh,
all right. Well, guys, thanks for sticking around for this bonus content, your TWIG supplemental. And we'll see you next week, right?
As always, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio. Check out our website at twigradio.com, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
You got it right that time.
I did. Shut up!
Spreaker.com, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app,
and your mama's house.
WRO.com. All right, there we are.
All right, till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL.